First of all, I know I'm only talking to myself, but 3 years ago, 3 years and 2 months ago, I was coerced and forced out of the home that I was paying for, I was working for, and I was building with my hands, based on lies, no due legal process, and the people whose job it is to use empathy and compassion at their line of work have used everything else but empathy and compassion. I didn't beg anyone to treat me as a victim back then because I didn't even know that I was a victim of very evident, easily proven narcissistic abuse. That does not define the person, and it does not give an ultimate diagnosis for who they really are and what they really are. It's just what happened to me, and the best that I can describe it, with the given information, data, and analytics that I was able to achieve in the meantime. So for these past 3 years, I have struggled a lot. Homelessness, attacks, violent attacks by addicts or other homeless people, and squatters. Whenever I needed protection from the police, they provided none. And I don't mean like protecting me live in real time, but when I did get attacked and I was able to provide more than surprising amount of information about the suspect to them, a picture, partial name, some information where they might be able to find more information about this guy, more of his victims. It took them 4 days to close the case, saying that there was not enough evidence to follow up with it. Interesting. I still have an email from the police officer saying to stop sending him this kind of emails and information because he's not a detective. I'm sorry. From what I understood, police and policing is also crime investigations. But okay. Towards the end of last year, because I finally received some help, not from the not from the people that were supposed to be helping, but from an individual, to finally be able to get out the worst of the crisis and start trying to rebuild life on something that I own. This vote. Without that person, I don't know where I would be. Unfortunately, that person is now nowhere to be found. So I don't know what's up with them. And I would love to know. Not just because of the mess and the problems that they consequentially created with their own decisions later on, but just because I care. Well, then starting around the beginning of this year, the first thing would probably be meeting my new welfare benefits agent. So the one I had before, and really helped as best as she could, moved on to a new job. So now I have a new one. And I met with her and her team lead. They were super curious about how I live, how do I pay for my bills, how do I survive, how things really are with me. And I presented everything. I told them everything. I told them how difficult it is. The money that they give me is not enough for food, just for the basic food. And it's not only the food cost that I have. You know, at the end of the day, if I'm in a harbor, I have to pay the harbor fee. If I'm using electricity, I have to pay electricity, which usually costs twice as much as it does in a residential building. I have to pay for the washing machines. Sometimes I have to pay for the shower. There's maintenance for the boat. Things go wrong, then I have to buy parts. If I want to pay less for electricity, I had to start investing and buying stuff that is powered by the solar. So all of these things were presented, proven with receipts, all of that stuff, to my new benefits agent. They said they want to help. Okay. In the past several weeks, there was an ongoing communication back and forth. I sent a lot of receipts. I kept updating them. And she said that before 15th of April, I need to tell her if I'm going to have another harbor and how much it's going to cost. I said, well, the chances of actually finding another permanent harbor in such a short term, since I've been doing this for a couple of years now, are really low. So in the meantime, I can continue to be guest in certain harbors, which costs me anywhere between 15 to 30 or more euros per day, depending on their fees. Obviously, if I don't have to be in a harbor, if I can be somewhere in a public spot, I will do that. I will try to cut down on my expenses, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I'm proving to them. They haven't increased my support. They haven't done anything that would help me extra. All I had to do is keep proving to them that my expenses continue to be high enough to keep the support, the level of support I was getting. Let me put this into the figures and perspectives. I am getting around 1,100 euros in my pocket every month from the welfare. But essentially, that was only for a few months, because in the winter, I had to pay 1,200 euros for less than 3 months of stay in the harbor just for the electricity. The harbor fee was roughly 800 euros for the 5 months in the winter. Then, obviously, I presented all of this, given that, it was winter, and at that time I was receiving actually 750 euros per month. You can imagine that paying trying. Today I received an email stating that since I have not provided any further evidence of any costs and told them where I'm going to be staying, they are entirely suspending my support, which means I will have literally 0 euros to support myself, which by the Dutch law at this stage is entirely illegal. So when it comes to destroying someone's life, these people and this system, including the police, they actually tend to break every fucking possible law in the book, starting with the human rights to begin with. But when it comes to helping, not that they just do not respect the laws that exist, they are making up laws that don't exist on the spot, and using authority that they don't have on the spot. Why? Because I actually have the audacity to tell them that what they are doing is wrong and they should be doing something different and better, and I actually have proof to back it up. So, for example, when it comes to registering an address, if you have no other place to register yourself, the law since 2022, so that's longer than I'm on the streets, says that the municipality must, not should or could, but must provide an address registration at their address unconditionally. Well, I can prove that still to this day, the same municipality that kicked me out on the streets, signed me out of their municipality, forced me to sign to an Amsterdam and wash their hands with me, this way with bureaucracy and illegal actions, still to this day are making unlawful, illegitimate conditions to register an address with them. These same people, again, I have proof, everything is documented. These same people used hearsay, totally unverifiable lies, and they actually tried to use that as an official report to a judicial branch of Child Protective Services, which in this case would be considered exactly the same as any other legal procedure at court. Investigation must be done, and they should have included me in reviewing all of those statements before trying to send them to anyone. Now, what really happened, in one of these documents, they tried to accuse me of potentially being dangerous to kidnap my children to the country where I come from. First of all, I never had such a thought ever in my life whatsoever, and I consider any such person a complete lunatic. So yeah, I don't know how it's actually crossed their minds, but I know where it came from. My ex's mother. And they took that hearsay as an actual analysis and evidence to point out how dangerous I am to the judicial branches. Now, I didn't know about this because this document was never shared with me. Not by them, as it should be. I heard about it from my ex. And I requested her to send me that document. Later on, they produced, because she objected to them personally, later they produced another document where they basically silently erased this particular part of the content where it alleges me and accuses me of potentially kidnapping my kids, and left everything else as it was, even though I already objected all the rest of that part a long time ago. In formal complaints. 3, to be precise. So with each formal complaint, of course, what followed, first time they literally cried in the office, hugged me, but a week later they followed with a retaliation, well documented. Second complaint was about that retaliation, and what did they do? They followed with more retaliations, of course. Either way, as of today, I'm clearly completely cut off of any support whatsoever. So I'm gonna be forced to survive with zero income, zero welfare. Not to mention, I have over 25 years of really good level, high level of experience in the career that got ruined by these people. In the meantime, I became unemployable for many reasons, not just because there's an AI and things have advanced so far and so fast, it's impossible to get a job. I sent over 2,000 to 3,000 applications in the past year, in the past couple of years, to several different well, not several, obviously a huge number of different companies in Netherlands and all over the Europe, and I barely got any response. Luckily, a few responses that were very honest and sincere were from the CEOs and people who run the companies themselves, telling me the reasons why they cannot hire as much as they would like to. They simply perceived that I was too expensive, not realizing that I was basically willing to sell my fucking whole life and career all over from start again just to actually have some stability in life. The world has turned upside down. People can only hear what they speak out of their own asses and they don't listen to others anymore. What's most terrifying right now is that it feels and it appears like the moment I start publishing anything, the moment I start picking up pieces where I left off, it gets worse. So now they're trying to cut me off to the point where I would just simply pack my things and leave. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna keep pushing and I'm gonna keep fighting back. Harder, louder, and I'm gonna post a lot more. On my websites, and other places. Most importantly, if anything happens to me, every single piece of paper and document I have saved will be published in a raw format. No editorial done about names, no protection of any names, no protection of anyone's privacy. And there's a huge list of people on this one, including my former therapist. All this kind of stuff, everything's gonna come out. Every single email, every single message, every single communication and interaction, everything. Private, not private, official, not official. Everything comes out. Anything happens to me, that's it. The bombshell comes out without editing, without paying, without giving a damn about what happens to anyone as a consequence, because that's exactly what's happening to me right now. People thought that I want revenge. No, I wanted just things to be done right. People thought that I wanted, I don't know, some sort of poetic justice. Maybe, yes, but just enough justice to prevent such damage to other people and children and families and all of this kind of stuff in the future. That would be satisfying already. But now, I have no other choices left but go to complete all-out war with this whole fucking Dutch system and the apathetic sleeping society who doesn't see what's happening to them. So I'll conclude this. If you have stayed watching to the end of this video, there's one very important legal change that has been accepted by the Dutch politicians. In spite of the decision of the Supreme Court in 2021, declaring these kind of laws unconstitutional. So for the sake of everyone else, in case you didn't know, the Dutch government recently accepted a law where they gave themselves complete authority on taxing unrealized gains. This means that they are going to impose a 36% tax on any kind of investment that you have, mind you, as an individual. If you're investing as a business, that actually goes into your tax relief because you're clearly, investing, reinvesting. But if you're doing that as an individual, let's say you have Bitcoin, you have stocks, whatever you have, and in the year when that's gonna go up, they will automatically take 36% of that money that you have in your investment account. Please understand that that money is something that you haven't sold yet, you haven't made any profit from yet, and you're clearly not touching, because it's there in your investment account in order to keep getting invested and enriched with that investment. So now whenever you're gonna make money, they're gonna take 36%. They already take up to 52% on income tax. They already take so much money with the taxes around here that it drives you insane. And now they're coming after the one thing that can actually... No, it's not about you being rich. Most of the people that are investing nowadays are doing it because they know what's going to follow in 10 to 20 years. This is going to be your own retirement plan, the one that you invest in yourself. They're after your money, they're after your assets. And it starts in the Netherlands first, of all the European countries, of all the Western societies that we have. This one is proving you how fucking fascist it is. They actually don't even care about the decisions from their own Supreme Court. If a police officer swears at you, calls you names, what so fucking ever, because they did, and I have it on the video, watch it. Do you think I can do anything about it? Why did those clowns laugh and giggle when I said I'm gonna file a formal complaint? Because they know it's not gonna go anywhere. Nothing's gonna happen to anyone. So thanks God I was recording. Thanks God I can at least freaking shame them with their names and their faces right here and right now. But that's it. They asked for way too much, but the wrong person. They can get rid of me, but they're never gonna get rid of the truth. They're never gonna get rid of the evidence. Actually, even worse, they need me to survive. Because only under that condition, the names, the details, and everything is not gonna be fully exposed. I'll keep that secret only as long as I live. Once I'm gone, once I'm dead, and if I haven't programmed the kill switch to not post anything, It's not gonna post just on a single website. No, it's gonna keep continuously spamming 24/7 on auto, because guess what? AI. Do I need a server? No. Do I need a computer? No. There's solutions out there that these people don't understand. And I've been using them for the past few months, testing, making sure, preparing exactly for this fucking moment. So good luck, Netherlands and Dutch people. This is not fun anymore. To the Dutch people, if you don't really finally stand up for yourselves, you all really goddamn suck. Klootzakjes. I mean, this is absurd. In 2020, when they told you, you all just, not all, there's some brilliant cases that weren't stupid enough, but everyone masked up, everyone fell in line like little sheep. Nobody questioned anything. Nobody questioned the data. Nobody questioned what's really evidently wrong with all of that. I was shocked, because among those rare people, I was among the first who didn't wear a mask. I was among the first ones to stand up to this shit. And what did most of the Dutch people do? If you gave them guns and weapons in their hands, they would have killed me right there and then, because of their fear. And what's happening now? Why this abuse by the police? Why this kind of treatment by the social services, people who are supposed to help? Why? Because I have the balls to speak the truth? Because I have the balls to call them out? Fine. Then this show has only started. Now I'm gonna begin. And I hope you're all reading and watching this, even though it's seemingly not going on. But I know who's watching and who's not. I have my ways of tracking that too. To anyone who has watched this video, I've been working on a lot for the past few months. That's why there was nothing coming from me. No shorts, not much. But now it's about time that I stop just trying to work on it and work and make it good or perfect. And it's time I start talking actually what's going on first. Because what I'm building is not that important. There's like thousands of other people seemingly building the same thing, but only a few have the real clue about what to build and how to build it. I'm talking about privacy, security, sovereign data systems, running AI on your own hardware and all this kind of stuff. YouTube and everything is full of it at the moment. And everyone's trying to sell you courses and their best plans and whatnot, and systems and strategies. I'll try to teach you how to make sure that what they're selling you is not putting your system, your data, your privacy, and your life at risk. That's what I'll do. And when it comes to these political systems and technical systems and the mental systems inside the people's heads, it kind of all converges together. I'm not mad, but I'm fucking done tolerating the bullshit. See ya. Peace. Well, a little bit of peace.